So how do you guys feel when you want something so bad, but you have to wait for it? Kind of like Christmas presents. Now imagine you couldn't live your life without that certain object. So, let me tell you a story to explain my little thing. Robbie suffers from cystic fibrosis, which causes sticky mucus to build up in her lungs and digestive tract. So, because of her illness, she is one of 3,000 people in need of a lung transplant. But she's not alone for needing a transplant. According to the organization Donate Life America, there are over 115,000 transplants throughout the United States. So today I'll be telling you about the need for organ donors, specifically in our region, so the southwestern United States. And second, how do you become an organ donor and how you'll benefit from being one. Okay. So in our region, the organization of Donate Life classifies our region as Region 5, so meaning the states of California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah. So after the last month of April, there are roughly 24,000 new recipients waiting for an organ. And according to Organ Procurement and Translation Network, there's only roughly 209 new organ donors in the region. So basically there's 10 new organ donors in each state. So it was roughly like 40 for the last month starting this year. And the sad part is that Donate Life reports that every 10 minutes a new name is added to the list, and around 18 people die for the lack of available organs. So now that you know the need for organ donors, I'll be informing you of how you can become an organ donor and make your wish to donate life fulfilled. So it's easy to become an organ donor. You just check yes on your ID or driver's license application so that it's become known that you want to become an organ donor. Everyone will know that you are one if you show your ID or your driver's license with a pink dot in the state of California. Other states like Nevada, New Mexico, and Utah have their own organ donor card that you would show in the case of like an unexpected death and an accident. So then after this is done, you should talk to your family about your decision so there won't be any confusion about you wanting to donate. One thing that I was looking up, because I know I'm a really religious person, is that all the religions that I looked at aren't against it, but encourage it. Because you're saving a life, and then that's what Christians basically want. The only one religion I found that wouldn't like it was Jehovah's Witnesses because of the need of they don't like blood transfusions. So when you have like an organ donation, you would need blood transfusion. So let me quote John Paul II when he said, "There is a need instilled in people's heart, especially the hearts of the young, a genuine and deep appreciation for the need of brotherly love, a love that can find expression in the decision to become an organ donor." So you might not be Catholic, but I mean, all the other religions also encourage it. As stated before, it's not that hard to become an organ donor. So let me discuss with you the benefits of donating organs. The donor and their family will, of course, be immensely thankful for your donation. And your family will be comforted if, for some reason, your organs are donated while you're unexpected death. One account of how a donor benefits is shown by a recipient's story. This guy, John, lost his vision when he was 20 years old because of a chemical explosion. Of course, that didn't stop him from living a normal life. He got married and he has 4 kids. Then, at the age of 51, he received a cornea transplant from a cousin that died in a car accident, and which allowed him to finally see again. This was one of the heartwarming stories that were found in the Donate Life America. But what I find interesting too about him is that some recipients don't want to find out who their donor are, and if it's a live donor, some live donors don't want to be credited for that organ because they want to be like a silent hero. They don't want to be like, oh yeah, I did this kind of thing. So in conclusion, donating your organs will be the greatest gift that you give to someone. I've told you about the need for organ donors in our area and how you can become an organ donor, and finally the benefits of this. Just think of how someone will feel when they find out that they're off the wait list and they would receive their organs. So let me leave you with this poem by Robert Test titled To Remember Me. Give my sight to a man who has never seen a sunrise, a baby's face or love in the eyes of a woman. Give my heart to a person whose heart has caused nothing but endless pain. Take my bones, every muscle, every fiber, and nerve in my body to make a crippled child walk. Take my cells, if necessary, and let them grow so that someday, a speechless boy will shout at the crack of a bat, and a deaf girl will hear the sound of rain against your window. Thank you.
So Jonathan, what did you think?
I thought it was good. The topic that she picked is really relatable to me, and I'm assuming everyone else, because we're all drivers and stuff. And she even used her attention devices to make it even more relatable to everybody. There was like a good preview. There's a good thesis. I could follow like the structure very well. Didn't notice that she was nervous at all or anything. I thought it was really good and effective.
Okay. All right, I like the analogy that you have at the beginning as an attention device, and the transition to the topic was pretty good. The follow-up that you used with the statistic also gives your subject some significance, and so you had a good setup of what the content was. All of the stuff in the introduction I thought worked pretty well. The main body of the speech is structured and organized, so you're doing okay there. In the content, I thought on the first part where you're trying to explain the need issue that you did pretty well. And I like the idea that you kind of focused on regional needs, since this is where most of us are going to be concerned about those kinds of situations. Some of the statistics were not quite as clear as they could have been. You mentioned the number of people who are donating each month versus the number of people who need to donate. And it wasn't quite clear to me why the number was so low, or if that was a daily or a monthly kind of thing. So that could have been a little bit sharper. I thought that you needed to get a little bit more out of some of your examples. You've got one example where you mentioned the guy who got the cornea transplant, and it sounds so matter-of-fact when you present it. There's no detail. We don't have a quote from the guy about how he felt or anything from the family in that situation. I think there's an opportunity for an emotional appeal that just goes by. You've got the right idea here, but it's just not. There's not enough follow-through on it. The attempt to answer religious issues is okay. I think you could maybe use that as a motivation for the audience too. The quote that you had from John Paul II sort of fits in with that idea. So that's a different kind of motivator, and I thought that that was pretty solid. Your voice is good. I thought your audience contact was excellent. You look up and you talk to us for most of the speech, and you're trying to engage us. Your gestures are limited, though, because you have those notes in both of your hands most of the time, and so you're not really entirely physically engaged, although you do look to the audience, like I said, most of the time. At the end, I like the quote that you have, sort of it's almost a poem that is being developed there. But I think that it loses a little bit because it needs to have a little more emotional tone to it when it's being developed, and that's underdeveloped. It's a good idea. You got the right concept there, but you needed to practice it a little bit more and get some more emotional content out of it. All right, thank you.